Sorry.
Welcome to Still Untitled, the Adam Savage Project. I'm Will.
I'm Adam.
And I'm Norm.
And I love watches.
But first, we promised.
Yes.
Have you watched Last Man on Earth?
I have not.
You should watch Last Man on Earth.
Yeah?
Will Forte and Kristen Shaw and some other people that you'll see later.
Kristen Shaw.
It is dark.
Kristen's been here in the cave.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I love
She was here
Kristen
a couple
Shaw.
of years ago for Sketchfest.
She's in Mad Men. First episode.
Really?
The very first episode?
Very first episode. She's one of the operators.
I probably watched that before I knew who she was.
Yeah.
The first place I saw her was on Flight of the Conchords, of course. And
I've also met. I mean, we're friend acquaintances.
Okay.
We know many people in common, like Hodgman, and we see each other backstage at various things and are friendly. And I just think she's a genius.
She's the best.
She's so awesome.
Yeah. This.
Oh, I played werewolf with her.
Was she good?
Yes.
I can see that.
She was very funny.
Did she? Yeah. I mean, I'd see she would play real funny and then murder everyone. It's like I watched the first 3 episodes back to. I sat down to watch the first episode last night.
Yeah.
It's on Hulu, so you can go just watch it.
Mm-hmm.
It is very, very dark. Like, it's one of those things that there's 2 ways to interpret it, because the first episode is all about Will Forte, and it tells the story of his experience after some sort of apocalypse. I think it's a virus, but it doesn't matter. And at first I was like, oh, this is really funny. He's doing all the things that I would do if I were the only person left on Earth. Like, you know, I would destroy houses. I just move from one house to the next like a locust, right? And then there's this turn, and you think, oh God, this is the descent into madness, right? This is really heavy for a 30-minute sitcom,
right?
You know, it's just really well done. You should watch the first couple episodes.
Have you ever seen? There's a New Zealand film from 1986.
I haven't seen it. Then I can go and tell you.
This Quiet Earth.
Ooh.
In which a man wakes up and he's the last man on Earth. It actually. God, I wonder if I can do this. We watched when I was a projectionist at the 8th Street Playhouse in New York, we had the trailer and we showed this film. And the trailer was him saying, hello, this is Zach Hobson. If there's anyone out there who can hear me at all, please contact me. So there's like shots of him operating the trains in an empty city just because he can and stuff like that. And then he meets 2 other people and shit gets really weird.
Yeah.
That's a great science fiction trope.
Yeah.
The producer is
Burgess Meredith from Twilight Zone.
Oh yeah.
The Last Man on Earth, the current TV show, the Will Forte show, is produced and created by the Lego Movie directors, who also did the 21 Jump Street and 22 Jump Street.
And and they're going to do something big. They're about to helm a big franchise, which I can't remember what it is.
Are they doing the Mission Impossible?
No. I don't remember. But
Avengers? Are they doing?
No. The new Avengers of the Russo brothers.
The Russo brothers. Okay.
Maybe the third one.
The third Avengers Part 1 and Part 2. But Chris Miller and...
Fuck you, Hollywood.
Hey, sorry. Keep it family.
Third Avengers Part 1 and Part 2?
I'll take
What?
Hey, man, that's better than Hobbit 1, 2, and 3.
Or Catching Fire Part 1 and Part... It's just
you don't
3 trilogies. Trilogies have 3 movies.
3 parts of a story.
3 parts of the story.
Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. The second one ends dark. That's all I know.
I asked Guillermo del Toro if he'd seen Hobbit, and he goes, no. It's like your ex-wife. If she's doing great, you don't want to know about it. If she's not doing great, you don't want to know about it.
Wise words.
So he's doing Hellboy 3, Part 1 and Part 2?
Oh, I hope. I wish.
No, I'd be okay with that.
Yes, I would.
I'd be totally
But anyway, sorry. Last Man on Earth. Okay, I will
watch Last Man on Earth.
I've been obsessed with. We finished this. No, we didn't finish the 6th episode last night. The Jinx.
I haven't watched that yet.
Okay. You need to watch The Jinx about Robert Durst, scion of a rich New York real estate family, the Dursts, the managers of the Freedom Tower, and a bunch of other, like, $1 billion worth of real estate.
One World Trade Center, yeah.
And the trail of murders that seem to follow him, which he claims to not have any part in.
Is this the one with a lot of dramatic reenactments?
It's kind of like Serial.
It's a little like Serial, except and it involves interviews with Robert Durst, the protagonist, who is terrifying to watch.
He confesses at the end, right?
I haven't watched the 6th episode.
Okay.
It's not like he confesses, but there's some very damning evidence I don't want to spoil. Look, it's really worth
You
watching.
can't spoil real life stuff.
Oh, yes, I can.
Perhaps you can.
Okay.
It is. It's beautifully made. The filmmakers really should give a shout out and thanks to Errol Morris because they use a lot of his documentary film techniques. And I think the world of Mr. Morris. And it's very, very compelling. 6 one-hour episodes on HBO. The Jinx, worth watching.
If we're talking about stuff that's incredible downers, I watched Grey Gardens the other day. Have you ever seen that?
Wait, the original, the Maisel brothers,
the documentary.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's so sad.
yeah. So one of the Maisel brothers just died.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I mean, that's why it was on.
Yeah, they also did Pimp, which is about pimps in San Francisco in the 70s, which is absolutely
Lots
terrifying.
of hats, or no? Is it fun
Yeah.
pimps or scary pimps?
All of the above.
Okay.
It is absolutely, yeah. They're some of the most important documentarians in film history, and they've done some of the most amazing documentaries. And Grey Gardens is my favorite.
Grey Gardens is a story about 2 heiresses, a mother and a daughter.
Of the Kennedy family.
Yeah, they're like cousins or something, right?
Yeah.
And it's about the descent. It's another descent into madness.
It is.
show.
They live in this large ramshackle house in New York.
Yeah, I think it's in. I want to say it's in the Hamptons or Long Island or something.
and they're like hoarders, and they're nutty.
Like it starts out and it seems like everything's normal and maybe they're just eccentric, and then it turns out that like they don't have it. They're not maintaining the house, and it all just kind of falls apart around them. And
It was made as a film starring Drew Barrymore and
Yes.
oh my God, Jessica Lange. That's terrific, except not as crazy as the documentary.
Right, that's the
like
thing.
when you watch the film, it's not as nutty as the actual documentary.
well, real life.
Well,
you
I
know.
mean, I think these actresses have to find a way to normalize some of this stuff within their life experience.
Be likable and
Yeah, and that's tough to do, to go total crazy.
It's like Ben Stiller said in Tropic Thunder.
Yeah, let's leave that one out. So
Anyway, watch it.
we've also been watching the Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt.
I haven't watched that yet.
we talked about that. Will and I talked about it on the other podcast. I'm not a big fan.
Okay, I think the first 5 episodes are absolutely genius, and Jane Krakowski's amazing. There's some incredible physical gags. It's a very weird show. I think I'm only 8 episodes in, and it seems to have taken a turn down to me, but I've been hearing that the next couple of episodes pick up. It's not like any genre of sitcom you've ever seen before. It bridges a few really weird ones, like tween comedy with like a tragic bent to it.
Like something that had Amanda Bynes and Jenny Garth or something? Like that?
A little bit.
Okay.
Except that, she spent 13 years in a hole being captured by a mad minister, and there was sexual stuff. They actually say that line, yes, there was creepy sex stuff. And then they don't deal with it. So it has this deep, dark undercurrent that's really messed up, alongside a standard cadre of wonderful Tina Fey surreal jokes.
And it's the same pace,
30
right?
Rock, fast-paced.
It's very, Anyway, that's the other one my wife and I have been watching.
There's some
a lot
TV
of.
recommendations.
Alongside of, I guess we're halfway through House of Cards, and we just finished, finally, the last season of Mad Men.
I watched the last episode last night.
Woo!
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah. Just when you think it's starting to pick up for Don
sad,
Draper.
Bert made me so sad.
The sign off was so good.
Yes.
The Norm's not caught up, so we should not.
Yeah. No, I'm not. Took care to not spoil. All right, watch us. That's what we're watching.
Oh, no.
Let's
I thought about that, and I said that would not meet my bar.
I think you
and
should.
so I'm like,
I think you should have gone there. Yeah. That's our segue. Sorry.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the podcast's over. We're not going to do this anymore after the terrible segue.
That is a great segue.
It was. People have asked us about watches,
right?
Because Norm and I are relatively new to watch wearing.
Right.
We have.
Oh wait! I just noticed that. Is that an Omega?
Yeah.
Apollo era Omega.
It's post. It's 71.
Right. This is one of the most beautiful watches.
It's my all-time favorite, and I wanted one for years.
I think you should get a new band for it.
You think?
I do.
That's the original.
That's the original.
Yeah.
Wow. I wear an Omega. Omega.
So you're saying you're an Omega man?
I am an Omega man. I love this watch, the Omega Seamaster.
It's a gorgeous watch.
It is totally gorgeous. It's heavy as hell.
Is it functionally the same? Is it the same 3-dial chronometer? Yeah.
I actually have had some trouble with this watch.
Really?
Omega. This is my second one, and it's just broke again. I've over the last 5 years, it's broken 3 times.
Like the mechanism or the band?
Specifically, the stopwatch function.
Really?
Has failed 4 times on me.
So this is...
And you use that.
And I use it all the time.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So I'm about to send this back into Omega. My other watch... I'm kind of a watch junkie. I have about 20 different watches, and I used to wear the Yes watch, which is a single 24-hour suite that shows you sunrise and sunset. Cool. Oh, they're beautiful.
Yeah.
But once I found this, I stopped wearing multiple watches and just wear this because I love it so much.
So the Omega dealer in Burlingame is really good if you need somebody to maintain it. Like I went in with this, which is a 40-year-old watch.
Yeah.
It had been sitting in a box at my parents for years. Yeah. And fired it up. I took it in and I was like, can you check the seals and stuff? He's like, I'm not going to open it because if I open it, the seals are going to be bad. They're fine. Don't worry about it.
Oh, nice.
I needed the links put in the band. They got the links in the band for me for $15 or something.
Nice.
Like, it was a very good, not upsell-y watch situation, which I was really pleasantly surprised by because I've had bad experiences in the past. Yeah. And the jeweler there is fabulous.
I will tell you that the other watch I wear is a Tag Heuer. Heuer?
Tag Heuer is what I've always said.
Yeah, that's what I say. Tag Heuer, a Grand Carrara.
Okay.
Which, again...
That's the one with the gold face?
No, it's got a silver face.
Okay.
They have about 1 million varieties of that. I love Tag Heuer. I've always loved them. And those two watches satisfy almost my entire watch Jones.
So what are your watch Jones? Like what are the things you look for? And it's different for everyone, I'm sure. When you shop for a watch.
Lately, I've been obsessed with a World War II era aviator's watch, which is the simplest possible face imaginable. They're made under several different versions. I think some of the originals were Luftwaffe watches, but it is a black face, white, like Futura, extra bold numbers, and blued steel hands with the glow in the dark. They're just beautiful. They range between $300 and $1,200, and build quality is associated with how much you spend. And you can spend a lot more on a real vintage one, but there's been a lot of people that have made them since then. That's the latest one I've been kind of eyeing on eBay.
So for watches, there's obviously an aesthetic appeal. There's a mechanical appeal, the construction, and whether it's a mechanical watch, the build. There's a historical appeal. Some watches are associated with people or events in history. So which of those things elicit the strongest reaction?
For me personally, it's the aesthetic appeal. I know at least 24 people who are wearing the Apollo Omega,
the Speedmaster.
The Speedmaster. For me, it's an aesthetic appeal. Now, as far as the build appeal, I don't know that this is right, but here's what I've been told. You know how pretty much all American cosmetics are made in a single factory? Did you know about this? They are. Yeah, they are. And almost all American eyeglasses are also made in the same location.
Right.
Same thing with watches. Over the past 25 years, what I have heard, and people can tell me if I'm right about this or not, Swatch has gone out and bought all the other watch companies.
Not all, but a lot. Like it's Rolex and Swatch and a couple of other companies.
Omega. Yeah. So they make Omegas now. And apparently, when they make the mechanisms that come off the line, this is what someone told me. I can't.
Are you going to say they're binning mechanisms?
No, they test the mechanism for its accuracy coming off the line. If it's super accurate, they put it in an expensive watch. If it's not, they put it in a cheaper watch.
Oh, that makes me super sad.
It's like processors. It's like
right. I mean, that's what in the processor world they call that binning. So they test it for voltage, and the fast ones are $1,000, and the slow ones are $200.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it's an efficient way to do manufacturing, and it really speaks to how much marketing and brand and how strong and design, how that goes associated with price.
I'll also say I have for the Bourne identity. Jason Bourne wears a Tag Heuer Link watch of a very specific kind, 3 dials on it, and I wasn't going to spend $1,100 or $2,000 on one of those for my Bourne collection, so I found a knockoff. It cost me about $200, and I will say that even though the aesthetics are identical, the build quality is totally clearly cheap.
It's like the different, like you can tell there's a stretch on the links on a nice watch that you don't get.
An ergonomic feel that is absolutely there. And actually, that's the part I'm most excited about the Apple Watch.
Oh, good segue.
Thank you. The stainless steel link version of the Apple Watch is the sexiest thing I've seen yet about the Apple Watch, because I don't love the square.
Bulbous square?
I don't love the aesthetics of the Apple Watch.
I look at that and I think that is a product that is very clearly going to be changed at the second generation.
That's the one I think I'm going to want.
Yeah.
I mean,
we're just to be clear, we're going to get them regardless, I'm sure. I don't know what your situation, but we're getting it for the site. You don't care because you're an Android person.
No, I care. I can't use it.
Right.
Really? It won't work at all with Android?
No.
It's a way to sell iPhones.
It doesn't even tell time.
Right.
Like you'd have to sync it with somebody else's iPhone to get it to tell time.
Well, he can sync it with your iPhone.
Yeah, I mean, maybe.
Love that.
I'm okay.
Hey, Norm, Gina, Gina needs to know something. No, so for me, the mechanical thing is really compelling. Like, I didn't realize how. Like, I just kind of occasionally hold it up. I don't know. Is the Seamaster mechanical or is it automatic?
It's automatic.
Oh, so this is a winder.
Well, both of my watches are automatics, and I love them.
Do you have the little thing that shakes them in their sleep, or do you just wind it up when you're ready to wear it?
I just wind. When it's time to wear them, I shake them and I put them on, and I wear them for a few days.
There was something amazing about winding up a watch that hadn't been used regularly in 20 years.
Right.
And having it just work. And,
Yeah.
And I synced it with the iPhone, and the next day it was a second off. I mean, that's amazing for a 40-year-old mechanical thing.
Yes. Yeah. I think my watch isn't quite as accurate as that.
Well, this is the old pre-swatch
This is a little
mechanism.
fast. This is so this was my wife's gift to me when we signed our our most recent contract with MythBusters a few years back. And it was a good deal, so she went out, and these are not cheap watches.
No.
And it's fast. I must admit, that makes me a little mad.
Take it to Burlington. I'll give you the guy's name.
Okay,
He's
good.
fantastic.
Good.
Well, your Apple Watch won't be fast.
No, it's the most accurate timepiece ever made. Just like every other computer. Stupid marketing claims for $500.
But can it handle the year 2000?
We'll never know. Send it back in
I want to
time.
go back in time with the Apple Watch and see what it does.
So the thing that I'm interested about the Apple Watch more than anything else is the communication stuff. I feel like having
Dick Tracy, meet me at the coffee shop.
I think the tapping more than that, because if you think about, my wife carries her phone in her purse.
Yeah.
Which means that effectively she's impossible to reach anytime she's outside the house.
I know that one.
Right. She carries a Pebble. She wears a Pebble now, which helps. But I think the ability to just whack on your phone and make the other person's wrist vibrate is going to be a real killer feature.
If they're wearing Apple Watches,
to me, I don't know about.
So if in your network, in your friends list, if they're all wearing Apple Watches, you can, instead of calling them, you can just tap the phone and they will feel the vibration.
So it has the linear actuator. It's not a vibrator. It's just a thing that just taps.
No way.
Yeah.
I mean,
we haven't used it.
Oh my God. This, but
I don't think casinos will allow you in with.
No, I'm sure.
I was wearing a smartwatch.
Yeah.
And when I went to Vegas for CES, I had my Android watch and playing blackjack. A very nice pit boss who looked exactly like Mike from Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Told me very calmly to take off the watch.
Yeah, I'll bet.
Anything that has two-way communication, they're not going to.
No.
I mean, just to be clear, when I went to Vegas in '98, I walked through the floor at the Circus with a phone out, talking on the phone, and they hit me there then. Now I don't think they can do that anymore. They didn't dive on me, but they came up and they're like, a nice man in a suit and then two huge guys also in suits came up and were like, sir, you got to put your phone away. And I was like, oh, yes, sir, absolutely. I'm very sorry.
Smoking.
Yeah. It's the Circus, so it's like the senior citizen bus.
You know, you know what Hunter Thompson said about the Circus?
It's the what the entire free world would be doing if the Nazis won the war.
Yes.
Yes.
One of my favorite
all-time favorites. Yeah. I'm sorry. Is that? I'm not going to do the bear quote, but yeah. Anyway, everybody should read Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas when they're 19 years old.
Yeah, no, it's so good. So good. I can't wait for my kids to be old enough.
They're close.
They are.
So I think the direct communication stuff is going to be really huge, but it's only a benefit if you and the people that you care about most get the watch.
Yes.
Which is a kind of expensive proposition.
It is. I was actually, given how much watches can cost, I thought that the price for the stainless watch with the link bracelet at $1,100
it's $1,000 or $1,100
about $1,100 that's a very reasonable price to come in on a high-end build quality watch.
But you're used to you're used to tags and Omegas, which are.
I know. And if you look at the prices of tags and Omegas, which generally their mid-range is more like $2,000 to $5,000.
Right.
Apple has, I think, carefully looked at that market and thought, what will those folks pay for a high-end build quality, or what would they take a look at and take a gamble on in a high-end build quality rather than make it $4,000?
So this is the point where the pricing is a thing that people are latching on to, and the popular argument is that the Apple Watch is not worth the same as an Omega or a Tag because it's not made to last 50 years.
Right.
It's not an heirloom product. That
totally makes sense to me.
But there was a fantastic analysis of the Apple's construction videos, the materials videos, the 3 ones they released on at the most recent event, diving into the manufacturing process. And so while
those beautiful videos.
Right. While the heart of the watch, the digital screen, the processor and stuff, that's all technology. That's all silicon that'll be outdated in a year or two.
Right.
The actual manufacturing process of the casing is to standards that, at least from this report, seems to be even more intense and higher quality than what existing watchmakers do with aluminum and steel.
The guy who wrote the blog is somebody who is a designer of aluminum parts for some other company, it seems like. It was unclear. I don't think he said who he works for. Yeah. But, it was really interesting to me because he said, look, I look at Apple stuff and I know I can't manufacture the tolerances they make because they own the whole thing from soup to nuts.
Right.
And that part's really interesting. He also, 2 things that came out of that were interesting, I thought, were that he presumed that they're going to glue the mechanism in the aluminum one, but maybe not the gold one.
Interesting.
So if you spend $20,000,
right, you could replace
presumably you can upgrade to the newer hardware.
I'll also point out that the actual day-to-day functionality is still yet to be fully tested by the general population. And in general, when Apple has hit, they have hit by jumping into a market that pre-existed with a lot of history already there, and shown a completely new way of thinking about it.
You're talking about the iPod, or a new way of interacting with it.
So the iPod and the iPhone were both on that line of those were seemingly mature markets at the point at which Apple's versions of those products showed up and changed how everyone thought about that. And that may occur with the watch here.
And one strength they have with this product that they did not have with the iPod or the iPhone is the network effect of however many millions of people already use iOS.
Right.
And so when you're launching a product that they presumably are expecting to sell millions of, the network effects of everyone using that are in place already.
When you have everybody that has an iPhone 5 or newer getting a new app on their phone to go in their Apple Crap folder that's called Apple Watch, that lets you both demo it, buy it, and annoys you into thinking, man, I really should get one of these every time you look at it, you can't understate the impact of that.
It could be a real game changer, or it could end up being the Cube. You never know.
I like the Cube. I thought the Cube, if you look in looking back on it now, the Cube had construction problems because the plastic cracked, whatever.
Yeah, they had a giant problem with QC on that lucite or acrylic case.
Right. But I mean, it's where computers have gone. I'd much rather have a computer that looks like something cool and interesting and is powerful than or invisible, even better, I guess.
Agreed.
Anyway,
I'm excited about seeing one in the wild and trying one out for real. I don't love that square form factor.
I think it's really ugly.
I don't think I'm going to look at my wrist and be like, I love this here. But you never know. I may go try one on and be like, oh.
So my watch was a gift, and when my parents were giving that to me, they were like, you can have a Seamaster if you'd rather. And I tried it on, and I was like, it's too thick for me. I like the lower profile of the thinner watch. So I'm really like this Pebble Steel I've worn for about a year now, probably. Yeah. And I really like that watch. It's a lovely watch. It's very minimal. It just shows notifications. That's pretty much it. Norm, you've been wearing the Android Wear watches for a long time. Like, what do you think? Can Apple do something better than that, or do you think it's
absolutely it's user experience? I mean, they design things from end to end. So without having seen the interface, that's what I'm most hopeful for.
Yeah.
The interface.
We'll know in a couple of weeks.
We'll know in a couple of weeks.
And
I don't want to play around.
And on that note, we will see you guys next week. Thank you for watching Still Untitled. As always, like us on iTunes, review us on iTunes, like us on YouTube, leave comments if you have feedback or want to share your own watch stories. And we will see you all next week.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.